Welcome back to the Eagle Network. It's time for The Pitch, Episode 2 with our men's soccer team. Joined alongside head coach Nick Roberts. Coach, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Well, good to be here again.
It's great to be back with you here. You know, since the last time we recorded our episode to today, big revelation for you guys was being nationally ranked. Let's talk about that first and foremost.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think over the years I've had that, not here, but with my last university I was at. I think, you know, at this stage it's a coach's poll, number one. As you know, there's two different rankings, the NCAA one, which is the more important one that comes out later in the year. But, you know, so I think anytime you get a coach's poll, I think it's a recognition of your work up until that point. But of course, it's still very early in the season, and generally speaking, rankings don't normally at the beginning of the season, they're not too accurate by the time we get to the end of the season. So, you know, for the guys to get something like that is recognition they're working hard, but at this point, you know, I don't think it's that relevant.
Yeah, and let's talk about your game from this past week, your first thoughts.
Yeah, we played Gannon on Friday night. You know, we knew it was going to be a tough game. You know, last year, I think they were last 32. I think they lost to Franklin.
Wow.
They lost to Franklin Pierce in a 3-2 game. Who obviously went on. You know, I think they went far deep into the tournament, maybe to the Final Four. So we knew Gannon. They beat us here last year 4-0. We knew they're a very good team, so we knew that the challenge up there in Erie would be a tough one. And you know, it was. I mean, we lost 1-0.
Yeah.
It was a tight game. I think statistically they were on top of us, but. The first half we weren't great, but we got into half time 0-0. You know, and when you're on the road, that's a big plus. And then the second half, I think we just got a little bit tired, and we conceded a goal. I think about 20 minutes into the game, and then you know, the last 20 minutes we were on top of the game, and we had a chance with I think 12 seconds left on the clock, goal mouth kind of scramble, and I think Leo hit it and hit one of their players on the line. So we thought at that point, man, we're going to tie this up, and we were very close to, which I think would have been a good result. But overall, I think it's still, you know, it's early in the season, it's a work in progress. We're playing well, we're playing hard. You know, we were in it, albeit they were a little bit on top of us, but we were definitely in the game. We were creating chances. And so, you know, apart from the scoreline, I didn't have too many complaints.
Yeah, and I think that's the interesting thing about your team this year is, you know, we've talked about it a lot, that you're still trying to figure out kind of what this team is made of. You know, you have a lot of guys who are graduating this coming year. You got a lot of guys who are young, and you know, you guys are hanging in there through each and every game. You know, as we get ready for conference play, what are some of the biggest takeaways you have from non-conference action?
Well, you know, like you said, we're trying to figure it out, and I don't think that's any different from any other team.
Of course.
You know, I think I was talking to various coaches, and when Millersville Repair's talking to their coach, and it's like, you know, really the first 5 or 6 games, you know, we'll do a couple of changes. I think tomorrow night against Tiffin. We are very much what you said. We've got a group of older guys, but we also have this whole group of younger guys that are playing. So it's a little bit interesting, but we are still figuring it out, and we've still got a couple of players to come back. We certainly missed Noah Brock, who's our holding midfielder. He had an injury, and he's on his way back, but we certainly missed him on Friday night. And we've got some younger players that now, you know, we've seen one of our reserve team matches. That's opened our eyes to one of the players who we expect to play a little bit Tuesday.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think we'll get there, but I think we're still probably, you know, 2 or 3 more games away from really getting a settled team, so we know what we've really got in front of us.
Yeah, I think the nice thing about non-conference play, too, is like we talked about, you can kind of test things around because it doesn't really matter in terms of the conference standings yet. So, you know, as you approach conference play in the coming weeks, are there any positions to you that have stood out that have really kind of taken on a challenge this year and excelled?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it is you know, we know the players coming in. You know, I've talked a lot about at the back. We look a lot more solid this year.
Yeah.
Primarily because we've been playing 4 at the back. But you know, certainly Flynn Toon and Hugo Dunga have a really good partnership in the middle of the back 4. And I've talked about Enoch and Abdul too. They've done very, very well. So those, the back 4, a new goalkeeper, Alvarado Bonet is getting bedded in.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of things that we want to improve on, but he's a very, very steady keeper. So really that's where I'd say we've really, that's really impressing me so far, that we're defensively very, very tight. But everybody else is working hard too. We've got some young players, we're moving some stuff around, and we're trying to find the right pieces in different areas, but those are the guys that really impressed me at the back.
Yeah, 2 games for this week for you guys. On Tuesday you guys have Tiffin, and on Thursday you guys have Northwood.
Yeah.
What do you expect to see in those 2 teams?
Tiffin. They won the league, in the regular season league, I think, in the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
In that time, I think they've become more or less the dominant, not necessarily dominant team, but they've been the number 1 team. Mm-hmm. Even though I think last year, Finley won the tournament. We finished, as you know, tied second last year with Finley. So, we're always in that area with them. But they're good. We've watched them the same old. They're very strong. They'll be older than us. They'll physically give us a hard time. But we have to accept the challenge, and we're at home, and so the idea has to be, look, we expect to put everything we can into the game, and we expect to win here. So, but it's good. That's going to be a challenge. I mean, the first conference game of the season comes up against Tiffin, who won the league last year. So it's tough, and then we've got to turn around within less than 48 hours and play Northwood.
Yeah.
And Northwood, I know they had a tough result this past weekend, but they're no fools either. They give us hard games whenever we play them, and we'll expect that to be a tough game. Especially, I think they don't play on Tuesday, so we do play, and all that's going to play into it. We're going to have to turn around from Tuesday night and pick ourselves back up and get on the training field Wednesday, and then play again Thursday, and then hopefully we can get a couple of positive results this week, and then we can try and give the guys 2 or 3 days here to get their legs back.
Yeah. And the nice thing, though, too, that, Coach, you haven't mentioned yet, is both games are at home. We're playing in front of that Ferguson Field crowd. How nice is that to have to start conference play?
Well, we have to make our home field, defend the castle, right? And we've not been too good at that in recent years, to be honest with you. If you look at our record at home, it's not been as good as it should be. I think even to the point, I haven't really looked at it too much, but I think even on the road we were doing about the same, or maybe a bit better. So we have to flip that. I've told the guys, look, we got to if we can take care of the home games and then get what we can on the road, that's going to go a long way for us to for the playoffs and all the other bits and pieces. So we have to make it tough here. We have to do better. We have to make it our place where we understand, look, you're at home, you're not traveling, you got the home crowd, you know the way all that goes. We call it the 12th man, of course, and that's what they need to make it. So it's very, very difficult for anyone, Tiffin, Finley, whoever it is, coming in here, and we're going to make it tough for them. We're going to try and beat them.
Yeah, and my message to you now is a message for Eagle Nation back. What is the importance of getting people out there to Philford?
Always, it's we get good crowds. I think it's always a tendency when we're doing better, we get bigger crowds out, and obviously the 6:30 in the evening game always helps too. Local kids, we try and contact the local high school teams, those type of things. So we see those guys come out and watch us, particularly when we're doing better. So hopefully we'll get them out, and obviously people here on campus, I think it's really important. But we have a lot of international kids, and so that most of those parents and families are watching on Flow Sports, back in England or wherever around the world that they're watching those games. So, but any support we can get, we appreciate it. And I know as the season goes on, and hopefully we keep winning games, that we get more and more people out there.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time today.
Thanks, guys. No problem.
As a reminder, to stay up to date with everything Ashland University men's soccer, head over to goashlandeagles.com or to Flow College to watch all the matchups that are coming this week at home. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning into the Eagle Network right here on this Monday afternoon.